Chris Gore got the knowledge in store. Oh yeah, Alan Lang watching top of the flare. Movie and TV show reviews that you need. Film threads on fire, we're planting the seeds. Film thread, we keep it real. Dive into the stories, you know the deal. Turn the phone, it's the place to be. Movie lovers gather round. 1, 2, 3. From blockbusters to indie gold. Oh yeah, Chris and Alan break the mold. Pop your corn, turn down the lights. Get ready to groove through movie nights. Film thread, we keep it real. Dive into the stories, you know the deal. Turn the phone, it's the place to be. Movie lovers gather round. 1, 2, 3. Grab your popcorn, sit right down. Film thread.
Hey, happy Friday, everyone. We are here. Time to review Sonic the Hedgehog Part 3. More thoughts about MUFASA and other films opening in theaters this weekend, including The Brutalist. The Brutalist, that's right. Plus, your questions, comments, concerns. We've got some movie news we should let you know about, and an interview with Dynamite director Robbie Steed Davidson is going to be here. Also, Alan is here. He's usually here. Where's Alan? I gotta find him here. Wait. Now the song's repeating. That's how late I am. Sorry, folks. Sorry. Alan, let's get you here. Come on, man. Come on. He's
I'm really busy at the moment with Dr. Doom, but I'll say it. Alan.
That's not the one. That's not it.
Hello, Mr. Gore. I have a plan. I will close all the portals so he will never get out again, but for now, we shall call him Alan.
No.
Mr. Gore, who the heck is Alan? And you want me to say what? Okay, cool. Alan.
No, I think I need more help here. I need more help.
Dude, where the hell is this guy and what is he waiting for? Get over here. Alan.
That's the one.
There it is. Now,
Keanu Reeves does a voice in Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
yes, he does.
Yeah. We're going to talk about it. I can't wait. How's it going, man?
Good. I'm so tired.
It's
I
a
got sick
weird.
last night, but
What's that?
I got sick last night, so I didn't finish The Brutalist, so you're on your own for that one.
Dude, the one movie I need you to see.
No, the one movie you needed to see was Nickel Boys.
Okay. Well, that's okay. We'll go through it. I have thoughts. I like to get your thoughts on the bigger films. That's a big one.
I know. I was thrown up in the middle of it, so I didn't finish it.
All right, let's see who's here. And Andrew Cram, so loyal and so supportive, gifted 5 Film Threat memberships. And he goes on to say, watched Sonic 3 last night, and it was interesting because of the Jim Carrey moments, and I love the voice acting that Keanu Reeves delivers. Yeah, well, we got him to call Alan this morning. Let's see, Spidey Sensei 72. So glad Chris and Alan are seeing all these terrible movies, so none of us have to. Well, there were some good ones.
Yeah. I saw a good one last night.
Yeah, I mean, I don't tell me what it is. I want to be surprised. I want to be surprised. My lighting is off today. I mean, it's almost off every day. We're not like, it's dark?
It's the redness in your face that everyone notices.
How do I fix that?
I have no clue.
How do I fix that? Should I just go like that?
Yeah, there you go. Gone.
I went back in time. Maybe there? I don't know. It doesn't seem real. This seems more real. Maybe I need more brightness. I don't know.
Yeah, you might need. Do you need more light?
Yeah. How many cups of coffee? 1. So far, 1. I have 2 on standby. This is cup number 2. A 3rd cup is in my fridge for iced coffee later. Might do that at the end of the show.
All
Lord Comet is here for 5. Hi, Chris and Alan. Keanu was perfectly cast as Shadow. Also, Mr. Terrific was also in the trailer. Talk about Superman trailer. Yes. Appreciate that. Appreciate all your supers and support this week. We've done live streams every day. We're not
One of
used
them
to that.
unplanned. One of them.
Alan and I are not used to it.
Yeah, I'm feeling it too.
Well, it's only because we do other stuff. Like, actually, YouTube is kind of a side thing. It's mostly the Film Threat website and the Film Threat overall business that takes our attention and seeing movies. So YouTube is like, yeah, let's try this YouTube thing. And now it's out of control, Alan. It's out of control. So, and here we go. How about you read this for me?
Yeah. So from the Lord Thoth, like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, sign up as a member, join us on X, Discord, Rumble, and Instagram. Buy our merch, shop.filmthreat.com.
Here it is. If you're looking for last minute gifts, and these this stuff, the holiday collection, gone after next week.
Oh,
it's gone.
Sold out.
No, it'll be shelved. This one will be gone. A whole new in the new year, we'll have a whole new batch of stuff. A special shirt I was talking to Atomic Lori about yesterday. I think we both agree would be a good idea. But do that, and also a reminder about Award This. Go to if you look up Award This on Instagram or X. Tickets are on sale, a limited number of tickets. Join us Sunday, February 2nd, 2025 for Award This, awarding truly independent films. The nominees are, I'm not sure how many nominees are coming, but they're being invited, and I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. So Award This tickets are now on sale. And yeah, I'm excited about that. Oh, wait, Sean Who is it? Yeah, here we go. Sean Who, 742. I listened to many Superman reactions, and one thing is clear: nearly everyone really wants it to be good. I think it's an important film. Alan, you have thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It is an important film. It's honestly, it's the movie that's going to save superhero films.
Well, it's the movie that could not only help the genre of superhero films, it will also help. It will also help theatrical. Also, I think in some ways, kind of heal this country. You know, and when James Gunn talks about the themes in Superman, I mean, let's look at some of the trailer reactions right here from others. We heard you. That live stream was going to be short. It was supposed to be, and
it became our usual 2-hour live stream.
2-hour live stream. But here's every DCU Easter egg in the Superman trailer, a thread. So let's look at this. I don't know what the context of this is.
Well, the question I have: are his shoes on or off at this moment?
Maybe he's putting them back on because they had an intimate moment. Guy Gardner's hair is very. It's. I mean, it was bad in the comics. It's bad here. What can you do?
Well,
more cameos.
I mean, is that Brainiac or who is that? Or is that
Crypto the dog? We have Crypto the dog here. Everyone, I think that was probably the most surprising part of the trailer, in the sense that it worked.
But was it Crypto a Labrador in the comics?
Yes.
Okay, that's what threw me off.
Yeah. So this is Guy Gardner, a Green Lantern. I just wonder, are normies going to be, are they going to be into all these references? I mean,
Well, I can't believe that, like what you guys were saying on Critical Drinker was, it feels like these villains are more side characters, and that
right.
this is very much a Superman film.
Here's Hawk Girl, Kendra Saunders. So not sure how that plays in. But
so there's only one hot girl, not two hot girls?
Yeah, a hawk to a girl. That's a different universe. This is Mr. Terrific from the comics and here. So we'll see how that plays into the story. It looks like he's protecting someone. So we'll see what that's all about. Of course, Lex Luthor, loved Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. God, he's some people when you shave their heads, they're kind of shaped weird.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's his actual head, but he looks good.
It's a beautiful head.
People are upset that it's Luthor Corp and not Lex Corp. Minor quibble. I mean, it's fine. He looks battered here.
He's got acne scars on his forehead.
Well, I wonder if he's going to put on the suit, the mechanized suit.
Mm-hmm.
So, and this is Metamorpho, played by Anthony Carrigan. Can change his body into any element he wishes. That's him right there. A lot of Easter eggs here. Simon Stagg is the billionaire owner of the company who created Metamorpho through genetic engineering. That's, I believe, Sean Gunn plays Simon Stagg. Am I wrong on that?
I think you're right.
Stagg Industries. Yeah.
That didn't look like Sean Gunn though, for some reason.
No, well, that's the comic version. The fictional nation of Baravia is in political turmoil. In the comics, Baravia is a European country that had a civil war after internal revolt against an international armaments racketeer who helped steal a poison gas. In the trailer, a Baravian boy is calling for Superman. So,
by the way, Sean Gunn is going to play Maxwell Lord.
Maxwell Lord, that's right. Okay. I knew he played somebody in there. So this was probably my favorite moment from the trailer. Yeah. Is Superman just saving someone, saving a young girl.
Yeah.
A little girl. So giant kaiju just appears. Here's the monster.
Yeah.
So there you go. Ultraman. Not my Ultraman. I prefer the Japanese Ultraman. Ultraman is like a bizarro Superman in a sense. So I'm not sure I really like the wide angle. We learned that the cinematographer for Flash did the cinematography in this, and I didn't love the cinematography for Flash. I like Michael Keaton as Batman in Flash, but almost there's so much about that movie that is we could talk about as problems. So
I will say that of the people in this trailer, I recognize Superman and Lex Luthor.
I think most people who know Superman know. Now here's the Fortress of Solitude.
Interesting.
And I do like the sort of crystal designs. Here's James Gunn. I guess maybe they went to the Arctic to film. That looks pretty cool. A damaged robot. This could be the assistant robots that Superman has at the Fortress of Solitude. And one of them is damaged. So maybe they track him to the fortress, right? We'll see.
I think that's that sets him off.
And this has been talked about a lot. Superman putting on the boots in the midst of an emergency.
And you're saying that's post-coitus?
It could be.
Yeah. It's kind of like the...
It could be. I mean, I think you said it best. I think you said it best yesterday. You said it needed to be a home run. It was a double.
Yeah.
A double is respectable,
mm-hmm.
but not a home run necessarily.
It keeps you in the game.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go to comments here.
From Polly, the Latino slant for 2. Super Threat will save us all.
Hey, miss you, brother.
Lord Comet for 2. The trailer is missing the Martian, John, Wonder Woman, and Flash.
Yeah, Martian Manhunter. You'd think he's kind of, maybe he'll bring them into the universe slowly.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a Justice League movie out of this. Huh?
Yeah, we'll see.
Darth Yeager, member for 11 months. Thank you for that.
Thanks, Darth.
And M for 5. Hey guys, say hi to my mom. We're watching together. Any good Spanish movies you can recommend? Merry Christmas from Mark.
Hey, Mark. Also, thank you. You're so generous and kind. Hello to you and your mother watching the show.
Yeah,
Appreciate
hey mom.
You. Spanish films. I come with a warning. The Coffee Table. It is a Spanish horror film. Mom, you got to give it a chance.
Yeah.
And as a mom, you will have a visceral reaction to this movie.
In fact, watch it with your son.
Watch it with your son. Mark, you've been so generous and great to have met you a couple times when we were in San Diego. Yeah, The Coffee Table, fantastic. What are the other Spanish films?
In fact, mom, if you have an infant grandchild, hold that grandchild while you're watching The Coffee
Do
Table.
not. Anyways, The Coffee Table. Very great. Very good film. Very good. Thank you, Mark. We appreciate you. Appreciate everyone who watches and supports our work. All right. Now, let's get to a couple news stories before we launch into so many reviews today. The movie Am I Racist, Alan? You like that film?
Yes, I did. I love that film.
Not only a really good doc that tackled a social issue, it's also a doc that was very funny. I would even go so far as to say, Am I Racist? Was one of the funniest films of the year. It was hilarious, mocking the DEI, DEI being infecting every industry, everything. And he focuses on Matt Walsh, controversial figure for some. I think he's a common sense guy. I don't agree with him on everything, but I love what I love the conversations he starts, and it's worth looking at everything he does. So, his movie Am I Racist also happened to be it was the biggest box office of the year for a documentary, an independent film, over 10 million at the box office, highest grossing doc in maybe a decade, and an important one because the focus of the doc Am I Racist? When it's very funny, but it focuses on the race grifters that continue to create a divide in this country over race. I thought in the 90s, wow, we mostly don't care about race. Nobody cares. And somehow racism has been monetized through these DEI programs. And we've seen what it's done to entertainment. We've gone over it many times. Let's focus on just his movie. Matt Walsh, the Academy Awards announced the short list for documentaries. These are their top 15 films in the genre that will be whittled down to 5 nominees. Am I Racist did not make the top 15, even though it is the highest grossing doc of the decade and easily the most talked about, most watched, and most influential documentary of this year. He is correct. This is the outcome I expected, of course, but it doesn't make it any less of a farce. He goes on to say, if a conservative can make a documentary that crushes every other film in its genre that year and beats every film in its genre in the past 6 or 7 years, and yet still not even crack the top 15, that means that conservatives are simply excluded from having their work recognized. Again, this is not a surprise, but that's what it means. One thing I've learned after getting into filmmaking is that the left truly believes it owns the art of filmmaking. Any conservative who makes a film is an intruder, a sinister usurper showing up in a place where he doesn't belong. The truth is that the success of my films, and they are both easily the most watched and influential documentaries of the decade, actually makes it less likely they'll be recognized by critics or awards. Our success is an affront to them. They hate us for it. Now, Alan, what are your thoughts? I'll tell you quickly, this is BS. We are one of the few outlets that not only reviewed his movie, Am I Racist? We reviewed What is a Woman, both on the website. Our reviews ended up on Rotten Tomatoes and on YouTube here. And I saw Am I Racist 3 times. And I saw it with different groups of people. I saw it with people who were not white, who thought it was hilarious. Our friend Dante James from Verbal Riot and Derek Anderson, the DA. So BS, I call BS on this. If the Academy wants to bridge the divide, heal what's happening in this country, start acknowledging these films. And it should be pointed out, Film Threat is a politically agnostic film outlet. We review films on the left, on the right, I don't care. But I have seen over the last decade, documentaries become increasingly filled with agenda. If you look at the source of financing, you'll notice that so many docs already have, it used to be that a doc filmmaker, I'm going to seek the truth. Here's a topic I'm interested in. I'm going to interview people, get a cross-section of opinions, and let the viewer decide how to think about an issue. And humor is a great way to discuss serious issues, which I think Matt Walsh did an amazing job, both in What is a Woman and Am I Racist, I think is even funnier. What is a Woman gets kind of dark a couple times. But this film is an important film. Whether you like Matt Walsh, whether you're on the left or the right, doesn't matter. It's an important film. It deserved to be nominated for an Oscar. So, Alan, what do you think?
Yeah, well, like you, when I saw it in a fairly packed theater, there was a non-white person in the audience. That was me. But to Matt Walsh's point, I mean, are you not surprised?
I'm not surprised.
This is, we can go back 20, 30 years and this would be true. He could have made the movie long ago and he wouldn't get nominated for it. I mean, there's certain realities you just accept in that, yes, the left owns film, cinema, art, and documentaries, and especially when it comes to recognizing good ones and bad ones. That's why anything Michael Moore makes will always get nominated, and why anything coming out of the Daily Wire will never get nominated. Right. There's just a certain reality there. But also to his point, it's a well-crafted documentary. It has a point it needs to make. What I appreciate about the movie is that it allows the opposition, the people who he's kind of working against here, to say that to speak their truth, to say everything they need to say. He doesn't censor them at all. While when you watch the other Academy Award winning documentaries, a lot of the responses from the opposition are edited. You can tell they're taken out of context. And that's not good documentary technique.
No.
So, when it came up, when you see Matt Walsh kind of talk about and complain about it, it was like, you knew the result long before you submitted your film to the Academy. So, I think it's, if anything, the good thing that comes out of this is we're talking about it. He's bringing it up. And, before November, I think we would have been kind of skittish or most people would be skittish about talking about this openly and publicly in fear of getting canceled and fear of, being called a racist, all the stuff that we deal with on a daily basis. So, I'm, at least we're talking about it, because I don't think we would have ever been talking about this for the last few years.
Well, it's worth seeing the movie, and I paid to see it in the theater. And I don't know. I don't like what I see in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to think of another media outlet that is politically agnostic. If you look at things like The Wrap, Deadline, Hollywood Reporter. At least the Hollywood Reporter and Variety have talked about the movie Am I Racist?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they had a conversation with Matt Walsh, and they did a screening for the Academy for the
something needs to change, and this is wrong. And people need to stop being afraid to speak out. They need to speak out.
Yeah.
Let's go to your comments here because we have another news story and 7 movies to review and an interview. Busy day.
Ololi Ukui. I have seen a lot of commentary that What is a Woman was better trolling and funnier, whereas I'm a Racist relied more on his ability to deadpan, which is admittedly considerable. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, racism has been around a lot longer than the trans issue.
But there's it's in short supply.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Goober, every great cause begins as a movement, becomes a business, and eventually degenerates into a racket.
I hope we get to a racket.
Yeah. Latino Slant, Polly, I can't stand Walsh, but he is not wrong with his statement. I like Walsh. Let's see, Vivander. Are there other cases where the most popular doc of the year didn't even make the short list? I find it hard to believe that it would be interesting to know. I mean, this documentary is a phenomenon in the sense of it made a lot of money at the box office, which is very rare for any documentary, right or left. BMO Better, left versus right creates tribalism and stops the ability to agree on common problems that can be fixed. Jeremy Francis, I remember Film Threat being one of the surprisingly few doing a proper in-depth review of the biggest hit of that year, Sound of Freedom, and even quoted on the front of it in my part of the world. Yes, I saw that. Lord Comment for 2, speak your mind. No one else knows what you're thinking. Yep. And lastly, from Cosmin Cristani for 2, great conversation, guys.
Thanks for assuming my gender. All right.
You assume right.
Another story. Anora actress declined an intimacy coordinator. If you've seen the movie Anora, directed by Sean Baker, starring Mickey Madison, there is a lot of sex in this film. Dare I say, I don't want to say it's graphic, but it's a lot happens. There's lots.
Let's just say the movie opens with a lot of nudity.
A lot of nudity at a strip club. Now, look, I'm no prude. It's as part of the story. It really works. So, yes, it's important for the story. But I think, along with DEI, an intimacy coordinator is a grift. It's another thing like COVID compliance officer, intimacy coordinator, DEI. I look forward to a day where Hollywood can just make a movie without all these side grifts, people sucking parts of the budget. It's something every filmmaker has to deal with that works in the Hollywood system. And I'm just calling it out. These are grifts. And also, it's probably not in the story. We did I filmed a Q&A that our members only can watch with Daniel Craig talking about the movie Queer. He told the intimacy coordinator to fuck off during that film. And he and the other actor worked out their sex scenes between themselves like adults. But Alan, if you would read some abstracts from this story and we'll discuss it.
Okay. So first paragraph just sets it up. Says that Mikey Madison plays a stripper and there's nudity in the beginning. And then it goes on to say, but there was no intimacy coordinator on set. It was a choice that I made, Madison said in a conversation with Pamela Anderson for Variety's Actors on Actors. She went on to explain that Baker and his wife, producer Samantha Kwan, offered her the chance to work with an intimacy coordinator, but she and Edelstein decided that it would be best just to keep it small. We were able to streamline it, shoot it super quickly. Intimacy coordination is relatively a new practice, popularized in the late 2010s, as studios began hiring experts in movement and mental health to choreograph sexually intimate scenes, while offering legal and emotional advocacy to all parties involved. I'm going to skip down further when it talks to Marcy Liroff, who is an intimacy coordinator. She says she's empowered, she has autonomy within herself, and I totally get that. But an intimacy coordinator is not just there for lead actors. She says, when framed as do you want this support or not, it makes sense to me that someone might opt out because they personally do not feel the need for additional advocacy or support, not fully recognizing how the role also supports others on set. A representation of Madison declined to comment. According to Liroff, who worked on the Eric and Lyle Menendez, I admire Sean Baker as a filmmaker a lot, but what became really obvious to me is that he neglects to understand the power dynamics that are inherent on set, Liroff says. It is next to impossible for a performer to say no to someone who has hiring and firing power. You do not want to seem needy. You do not want to have to spend more money. We're a new position on set, so we're a new line item in the budget. Then
that's exactly what I was talking about. Yes, another line item in the budget. I think it's a grift. I think it's BS. I think in many ways directors have to act as therapists with actors. Actors can be highly emotional. They're probably more in touch with their emotions than your average person, so they're right on the surface. And all that is gobbledygook BS to get a paycheck for a job that is unnecessary when you have a skilled director. And if the actress and or actors are if the actors involved in whatever intimate scenes are okay with it, you discuss it. I mean, these are adults. Okay. So I call BS. I think more and more actors like Mickey Madison and Daniel Craig need to push back against this. It's a grift, like COVID compliance officer, like DEI person. You know, I think a director, a filmmaker, producers are capable of hiring the best people for the job. And yes, they'll keep in mind you want a variety of different types of people. Maybe this role doesn't matter what the ethnicity of a person is. We get the best actor. Like, let's go back to that. Common sense. Let filmmakers make movies, not grifters impact and have an influence on the film. I am vehemently against all these grifts. They are grifts. Call them out. All of them. How can I get a piece of that $100 million Hollywood budget? And you know, producers have been, what is it, $100,000 for this person, $300,000 here, $500,000 here. What does it matter to a movie that's like, $200 million budget? It adds up. And the more grifts that come along, the worse. It's not helping movies. Allow filmmakers to make their films unencumbered by these influences. I'm against it. More people need to push back, and good on Mickey Madison. Hope she wins the Oscar. Alan, your thoughts? What are your comments?
Yeah, I generally agree, but there has to be a happy medium. Let's just say that the industry has taken advantage of women and others for a very long time, and
that's never happened.
It's never happened. No actress has ever walked on set and said, "Hey, today we're changing things. We're going to make a nude scene, and if you don't care, you can go home." That's never happened in the past. But at the same time, what happens is these grifters they take an issue like this and say, "Well, you're being taken advantage of. Hire us, and we'll make sure everything." And what winds up happening today, when you get a little bit of power, you take a lot of power, and a lot of these intimacy coordinators become writers now on set. In a way that, when they talk to the actors, they'll try to convince them not to do the scene or have them rewrite it. To me personally, I think what needs to happen is if you're an actor who's going to go into a movie and there's a nude scene required or whatever sex scene required, I think it's perfectly fine to understand exactly what's going to happen on set before you arrive on set. To me, that seems reasonable. You know, that there should be no surprises, zero surprises when you take off your clothes and do what you need to do. But as you say, that can be worked out amongst adults.
Yes, and also, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but if, say, an actor is in a movie and there's a nude scene for which they are uninvolved, they're not even in the scene. All actors are informed. This film has nude scenes. Then you can choose to be in it or not. Even if they're not involved, not on camera, it doesn't matter. They're not even in the scene. They are informed. I think Hollywood, yes, they've added some rules, but you don't need to add these positions. You just need to be responsible. So read a pamphlet in Human Resources, do your job, make the film that you have envisioned, and you'll. I mean, the movie's up for Oscars, you know, or it's in contention. I think, you know.
Well, yeah, Critics' Choice definitely.
The work speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So,
and like I said, you know, and look, the comments the intimacy coordinator makes in this, it's all comments to justify her job. And to say, hey, you know, you should have the freedom to have or not have the intimacy coordinator. You know, and if you don't want it, you shouldn't guilt the person into not having it, because now you're doing the exact opposite of what what the problem you had in the past. So, you know, like I said, I would say I wouldn't necessarily go far to say that you need to that the service is not valuable or not useful. But at the same time, there is a happy medium, and I think we're going to the extremes here. You know, in the past, the extreme was you do what we say or you're fired, and now it's not only do you have an intimacy coordinator, but now that intimacy coordinator is going to advocate to the writer and the director on set for you, and I think that's going the wrong direction as well. There has to be a happy medium there.
Final thought before we go to comments is, I'm tired of these outside forces having so much influence on films. So I would like to see it end.
Yeah.
Come up with policies, but after that, let the filmmakers, which includes actors, let them make the movie. And if you're not actually involved in what's on screen making the movie, we don't need you.
Butt out. Yeah, butt out.
Okay. Comments. And I need to say this because we're going to have fewer comments between things we're doing because we have so much to cover if you see the number of movies. So, Alan, if we got to move things quickly.
You asked me what I thought. I told you what I thought. I mean, really. All right. Darth Yeager. Intimacy grifters is why we have that stupid forehead bump thing in movies now instead of a kiss.
Yes, Darth Yeager.
Knee Pain gifted 5 Film Threat memberships. Thank you.
Thanks, Knee Pain.
Right.
Love you, man.
Lord Comet for 2. Yeah, grifters changed the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies to kid-friendly. Patrick Lemire, industry coordinator, should be called the Harvey Weinstein Memorial Budget line item. Knee Pain, can I be an intimacy coordinator on Film Thread?
You are. You are now. I give it. Thank you, Knee Pain.
Magnum Norse for 5. Intimacy coordinator sound like porn director. LMAO, just saying. Day Trippers for 50. Intimacy coordinators are pervs that like to watch in an unrelated subject. Where would someone sign up for such a job? Asking for a friend.
Yeah, I have no idea how you get a job like that. That's weird.
Yeah. Nick Brown for 499. Intimacy coordinators sitting in a chair in a corner saying, "Do it slowly. Do it dismount." I don't know what that means.
All right. It's time. If you would get your posters ready, Alan, and let me repeat something that I need you to hear.
I mean, the thing you just said.
Yeah, we gotta move quick.
Yeah. You said that a minute ago, but yeah. But we could slow things down and talk about it right now.
I see complaints in the chat about on Versus how people talk over each other. I'm going to start I'm the traffic cop of the show. I move things along, and I need people to listen to me. So Now, I sound like I'm being an asshole right now, but there'd be no show if someone wasn't that person. Okay. So we got 7 movies to review in 45 minutes. Can we do it, Alan? Are you up to the challenge?
Yes.
Can you do it?
Yes.
All right. Let's start with some of the movies that you've seen.
Okay.
If you would bring up the poster, and Alan and I, what we do is sometimes, because there are so many movies, sometimes Alan sees films I don't see and vice versa. We both see films. Alan, tell me about Homestead.
Okay. Homestead is from Angel Studios. This one kind of caught me by surprise because I didn't know too much about it until I started into the film. But if you look at the poster here, you see a nice farmland here. What happens is a nuclear bomb goes off in Los Angeles. A family decides that they need to go to the homestead for protection. This homestead exists in Colorado. It's run by Ian Ross, played by Neil McDonough, and Neil has built this kind of compound in the middle of nowhere in Colorado, and he knew one day things would fall apart. The government would collapse, which is starting to happen, and decided that he needed to provide for his family in case such an event happens. So not only did he build the homestead, but he contracted some military special forces veterans to now join the homestead and protect it. And so the movie plays out, well, what if this event happens? What if the U.S. government falls apart and collapses? And what if you were resourceful enough to create this homestead? What would happen? So
it's like
people,
a science fiction in a way.
kind of, yeah. Post-apocalyptic fantasy. So obviously, the neighbors start showing up. Hey, we know you have food in there. Can you let us in? Can you share some of that food? No. And then he's got these military guys to keep the friends out. And then people start swarming the homestead, innocent or not. At one point, someone accidentally gets killed for being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they have to deal with that. Also, the rats are getting to the wheat, and so they're running out of food faster than they thought they would. This is from Angel Studios, which would imply that there is a Christian message behind, and there is. And it's very interesting because about halfway through the film, you start realizing, what would a Christian do if they were in this position? What would a Christian do if the neighbors showed up begging for food? What would you do? There's all this paranoia going on. And now you have God playing in the picture. Do you trust God or do you trust your paranoia? And this is how this movie kind of plays out. And I found it fascinating. Also, if you didn't know this, but this movie is basically the pilot to a series, to a television series that you can watch at the Angel Studio website. And so there are several episodes that now follow this movie, which I found fascinating as well. I'll give it to Angel Studios. Like I said, I've been a Christian a very long time, and early in my life, Christian movies were just consistently awful. This one I just found fascinating on the level of the Left Behind series. It's kind of that what if, the filmmakers really get a handle on pushing the plot to its logical extreme, and then ask the question, what would you do in this situation? And that's exactly what this film is. And so, yeah, highly recommended. Just fun to watch. If you're a fan of the post-apocalyptic films, including Left Behind, I think you're gonna have fun with this one. Neil McDonough, I appreciate the fact that he's getting into Christian films, and he's definitely bringing the gravitas that the genre desperately needs.
So you recommend it?
I recommend it. It's in theaters for a limited time. And awesome. You can pass it on to a friend. So you can go to the website and give free tickets to friends.
All right, let's go to your comments. Now we have too few comments. It's like, I feel like, am I Goldilocks? There's like, too hot, too cold, just right. I need just right today.
Okay, KG
Prepper the movie, says KG Jung.
All right, Bill W. They need the dogs, the cats and the doggies for the rats.
All
they're
right,
eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
We're going to pivot. We're going to go talk about another movie. Talk about a movie you didn't see that I did see called Day of the Fight. bring up the poster. All right, Alan. Day of the Fight is exactly the title tells you what happens in the movie. It's directed by Jack Huston, who's related to Angelica Houston, oddly enough. It's about Mickey. He's a former champion boxer, and he is preparing for his first fight after prison, a championship fight with everything on the line. Mickey is played by Michael Pitt. He plays Mike Flanagan. Others rounding out the cast: Ron Perlman, Steve Buscemi, Joe Pesci, and it's about Mickey's day preparing for this fight. And what he's doing is he's putting everything in his life in order. So you see him at the beginning of his day. He's starting to write a letter to his daughter. It's very poignant. He visits his local coffee shop to pick up something for breakfast. He sells a ring to get money to bet on himself in the fight. So he's going about his day, this journey, basically also dealing with the sins of his past, leading up to an epic fight in the ring with everything on the line. The movie is beautifully shot in black and white. Michael Pitt's performance is incredible. And I'm sorry, I saw this really late. It's now in theaters. I feel like he really had a shot to get some awards nominations, and it has, though it's not nowhere near as good as something like a Rocky. It's like the art film version of a Rocky story, of a Rocky film. And Michael Pitt is so amazing in this movie. And I know Jack Huston fought for this film to be shot in black and white. He had to fight with investors. No, it's black and white. And it has that. As a fan of boxing movies, Raging Bull is one of my favorites. And again, not as great as Raging Bull, not as great as Rocky, but in the pantheon of sports movies, because what I love about sports movies, I love sports movies. I just love them. They're very simple. You win or you lose. Or sometimes when you lose, you win something else, which is respect, which what happened in the first Rocky movie. Stallone's character, Rocky Balboa, won respect. And Michael Pitt, dude, I mean, he carries this movie, and the emotion and the weight when you see what he's dealing with, from his estranged wife to what he had to deal with in prison, is just a phenomenal performance, and shows you what you can do on an indie budget, what is possible, So if you love boxing movies and you love sports movies, put this one on your list and see it on the big screen. I was fortunate enough to see it on the big screen, and wow, really powerful film. And it's all about Michael Pitt's performance. So there you go. I recommend.
What's your rating?
Day of the Fight.
What is your rating?
I don't know if I put a number on it. I mean, between a 7 and an 8.
Okay.
Right, 7.5. But I thought, because I've seen boxing movies with better boxing, right? But his journey is what makes this work. Not the fight scenes. We've seen better fight scenes in Rocky films and Raging Bull, or Creed. So the boxing wasn't the point of the story. It's not spectacle. It's about this internal journey of Mickey's character. Let's go to your comments here.
All right. Jimmy Francis, Joe Pesci back from retirement again?
Yeah, he's even a producer on the movie.
All right. Alexander Souza. What is this Raging Bull Part 2?
No.
Folie à deux. Solomon Thornton, love the poster. It gives me 70s vibes.
It definitely has a 70s vibe, a bygone era. So it's and I like that. All right, let's do another review. How about something you saw that I didn't?
Okay. That would be
how about Maria?
Maria. Actually, I pulled that one because I could do the room next door if you want. Did
Yeah,
you see that one?
I did not see that one.
All right. Is the
Let's talk
banner?
about
There
the
we go.
room next. Alan, tell me about the room next door.
The Room Next Door is the film by Pedro Almodovar. I believe I just mispronounced that. It's a story starring Tilda Swinton and Julianne Moore. They are best friends from long ago. They worked at the same newspaper. They have become somewhat estranged after basically dating the same guy. Tilda Swinton is a war reporter. No, is a war reporter, while Julianne Moore is more about lifestyle type stuff. But they, at this late age, they come back together as friends because Tilda, who plays Martha has some news. She has cervical cancer and she is dying. And the reason she needs to bring Ingrid here, played by Julianne Moore, is that Martha wants to commit suicide. She wants to euthanize herself. And so what they've decided to do, what she's begging Ingrid to do, is to go to her mountain home, and just hang out there for a couple days. And one night, without her knowing, Martha is going to take the life-ending medication, and Ingrid will wake up one day and find her dead. So this is a euthanasia movie. And it's important that Ingrid be there, because Martha wants Ingrid to stay where, Chris? In the room next door.
Oh no! Hence the title. Why didn't I figure that out?
Yeah. And so this movie is really about euthanasia, about two friends and the struggle and the all the issues dealing around the subject. This is very interesting. Pedro Almodovar. I'm more funny story. I went to the Academy Museum with my daughter. There is an exhibit there of Pedro Almodovar. We walk up and there's a giant screen of Penelope Cruz's left breast up there. And this is kind of my knowledge of Almodovar. This is really the first movie I sat down and watched. He brings a very distinct style to the story. The movie, the dialogue, it plays out like as if it were a play, where it just feels like that the actors are more about the delivery of lines than they are about acting. So the dialogue just feels very weird. It feels like a soap opera. There's John Turturro is in it, and there's a whole discussion because he's this really radical environmentalist, and I think the reason that him and Martha broke up is she wanted children, and he couldn't handle the fact that someone would want to bring children into the world, knowing that it's going to waste away because of climate change. The other thing is the colors are very bright, almost like 60s bright, the Rock Hudson, Doris Day type color palette. Very brilliant colors. And also, speaking of the 60s theme, it has this very sweeping orchestral soundtrack behind it, which I found odd because this is a two-hander movie. A lot of the time, it's just the two actors walking through the home, a wide shot, and then you have this sweeping soundtrack playing behind them. And it just totally felt weird. And so my criticism of the film is this. It's subject matter aside, this feels like an art film. And it feels like if you're really into art films and you want to be that pretentious art critic, you'll probably love this movie. That said, I can give it a bare recommendation. I found the subject matter fascinating to the point where I just kind of was interested to see how things would ultimately play out. But I found myself often distracted by the art of this film, which is kind of, it just felt a little too pretentious for me.
Well, I really love Tilda Swinton. It's more about these actresses' performances, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And, I would say that it feels like it's a foreign film that stars two American actors, two A-list American actors. And that's kind of how, because of the foreign films I've seen, the dialogue and the delivery, it feels like that. And so, it works for foreign films. I don't know that it works with Julianne Moore and Tilda Swinton.
So Bear recommend.
I recommend.
Is there nudity?
No, there isn't. She's dying of cancer. Why would there be nudity?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Almodovar, yes. You would.
Because Almodovar films.
We went through that exhibit, and there was a lot of nudity. In that
Almodovar films do have a lot of nudity. I mean, he's a foreign director. They're maybe less uptight about sex and nudity. Yeah. So
I mean,
I expect that in foreign films.
Yeah, I'm sure you know his catalog better, but this is the first time he's working with two well-known, I'll say English speaking actors. Is that kind of his first time doing this, or has he done that before?
I'm not sure, but I've always found him interesting and worth seeing. So I'll take your Bear recommend, Owen. Let's go to comments.
Okay, Bill W. Is it about a room and a door? I mean, that moment when she says, "I want you in the room next door." I'm like, okay, there's the moment right there. Jim T. Is this a Beaches reboot? No, this actually takes place within a week of time. Not the Batman. The Room Next Door could be a good horror movie title, though.
It sounds like a horror movie title.
Yeah. Anthony Parkinson. I can't wait for the pitch meeting for this laugh fest.
I don't think I love pitch meeting. Probably won't be one on this.
Yeah. Hung Kong Fooey. A two-hander movie. Kinky. Yeah.
I was wondering where you're going with that, Alan. Let's review one more movie before we get to Sonic 3, a movie both you and I have seen.
Yes.
Let's talk Nickel Boys.
I've seen this one.
That's why I'm saying.
Okay.
Let's talk about Nickel Boys. Nickel Boys is about a young black gentleman named Elwood Curtis, and his college dreams are shattered when he is sentenced to Nickel Academy. It's a reformatory school in the Jim Crow South, and he tries to remain optimistic in light of being what is effectively almost a sort of soft version of a prison, and is looking just to survive as a young black man in the South. And before you roll your eyes, I'll just say this. We've seen this movie before about racism. It's a period piece. So it's the 50s era.
Contextually correct.
Yeah. So it's in context. The racism is like, that's of the time. There's a really poignant scene where you see, we'll talk about this in a second. They get books, they get hand-me-down textbooks. The kids that are in the school, and in the textbooks are things that the white kids wrote of horribly racist images, some involving nooses and whatnot. So I believe it accurately portrays that era because plenty of evidence existed. There was quite a bit of racism in that period of time. We've seen this movie before. We've seen movies about that era of time. We've seen everything from Mississippi Burning, kind of a mystery thriller. We've seen different types of movies set in this time dealing with this kind of racism. And the director, Ramel Ross, must have been aware of that because his approach is what makes this movie noteworthy. Working with cinematographer Jameau Frey, which I think probably some of the best cinematography of the year in this film. Okay. Because the approach is what makes this film unique. Ramel Ross shot this movie like a first-person video game, a first-person shooter video game, where you are the one that I'm trying to remember how often, or if you see Elwood Curtis, but it's like you see the movie through his eyes. The camera is the character. You are the character. It's at first kind of It's strange. You get so used to it, it makes everything that happens so powerful in a kind of movie and material and a subject matter that has been done to death. Is such a unique way to tell this story. I was riveted. I think it's very important. And the way he puts you in the eyes of the protagonist is incredibly unique. We've seen, the only movie I can think of that's like it is, you remember an action movie called Hardcore Harry?
Yeah.
I mean, was it Hardcore Harry or Hardcore?
Yeah, it was Hardcore Harry. Yes.
Yeah. Hardcore Harry. I'm going to look it up to make sure I get that right. No, it was Henry. Hardcore Henry from 2015 is an entire movie where you see Hardcore Henry. You see the whole movie from his point. You don't, I mean, you see the character in a mirror, I believe, but it's like you see the whole movie through first person. It's very video game like. That's what this movie does. It's very powerful, and I was automatically just sucked into the film, and it makes everything that happened just sort of much more meaningful. Alan, what did you think of Nickel Boys?
Yeah, let me correct you for a moment.
Okay,
because it was brought up at the CCA ceremony or dinner for Black cinema and television. It's, I would say 70% of the movie is from first person perspective, and it's not just the main character.
Yes, it does change. It does change.
Yeah. And the thing that I
like his grandmother,
right? Like there's a scene where his grandmother comes looking for him, or his mother comes looking for somebody. Yeah, he's talking to someone. We're seeing it from the perspective of the person,
but not the main character. Yes, but what I'm saying is,
hold on.
The movie puts you in the you are the one experiencing the events.
Right.
Like
but let me expand. Let me expand on that.
Yeah, thanks.
Because, like I said, that's probably 70% of the movie. The others, 30% is basically, I would call it up close images of that time, of what it's like being a Black man in Jim Crow South. It's this movie. There's rarely a wide shot in this movie. Everything is really up close and in your face. There's a point where they're showing evidence of the crimes that were occurring against the Black youth at Nickel Academy that are brought to screen. And so I more or less I liken this movie to a quilt, a quilt of the Black experience of Jim Crow South, because it's not only the fact that you're watching things through the point of view, but it's a lot of fast cuts. You're getting glimpses of things that were, feelings and emotions of the South, of what was happening to Blacks in the South, what was happening to these boys who were, spoiler alert, they're slowly being murdered over time, just because of the racism that was going on. And so the scenes move quickly. The cuts are fairly quick. They're up close. They're in your face, and that's all designed to give you a more tactile, a more emotional grasp of what was happening at that time. And that's, to me, that not only takes what you're saying about the POV, but really takes this art form and gives you a visceral, emotional feeling of what was like going back in that time. Contrasted to the last one we talked about, The Room Next Door, that seemed art for art's sake. This is art with a purpose and art for a meaning, and I do give this a high recommendation. Yeah,
same. It's almost like parts of it, the parts you pointed out, are almost kind of documentary like.
Yes. Yeah. My only quibble is I am starting to loathe time jumping. I hate time jumping because a lot of the times they don't warn you what's happening, and when it happens, you're confused as to, well, where am I? Who is this? And what's happening now is I'm not figuring it out until well into the movie, and it just comes frustrating.
Yeah, the time jumping was weird, but the whole experience of it, I didn't mind that. I just think it's such a different way to tell this story that it's incredible. So
yeah, I feel like that this movie would have been average had it not been shot this way.
Yeah, the approach, the unique way to tell the story is what makes it so powerful. Mm-hmm. So I give it a recommend as well. High recommend. And we'll see this movie come up in awards season, I believe. So
yeah. I mean, I think this is my best cinematography movie of the year.
100%. 100%. Let's go to your comments here.
Jimmy Francis, Hardcore Henry meets Mississippi Burning.
That's exactly. What's funny is that's kind of accurate, but it's better than that.
Well, let's just say the crime isn't solved until decades after the events occurred.
Yeah.
Patrick Lemire, the poster looks like the movie might be a comedy. Yeah,
you're right.
It's
how do you market a movie like this? Like, I agree with you, Patrick. It's strange, but
it's a powerful moment in the movie, but it's like taken out of context. It just seems weird. The nerd far away, Alan, they're just not doing the time jumping right these days.
Well, I think it's too often used. It's maybe a crutch. I think it works here, but it's unnecessarily confusing. All right, let's get to Sonic the Hedgehog 3. That's why most people are here, right? We have a couple more movies and an interview. Hey, we do a full show here at Film Threat. Every show is a full big show, meticulously organized and produced. Wouldn't you say, Alan?
Yeah, absolutely.
To annoying extremes.
Yes. Some might say it's overproduced.
Alan, we both saw Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Obviously, the third film in the series. I like the first movie. I think the second movie had some problems. I think the one thing people agree, they got Sonic the Hedgehog right. They got the character right, the design, the voice acting. I think the second film suffered from too much in the human story. It reminds me of when I watched Godzilla movies as a kid. It's like, get to Godzilla. I don't need to see so much of the humans. But I feel like in this movie, they got the balance right. While the human characters play a part, they don't dominate. It's enough of a balance of, I just want to see Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and of course, the character everyone's very excited about, voiced by Keanu Reeves, Shadow. Alan, tell me about give me the basics of the story, which isn't even, I'm not going to say it's not important, but I'll say this. It's accurate to the game. Accurate to the game, with the exception of maybe what the fate of a certain character. But it's, if you play the game, this movie's kind of dark because Shadow, there's a reason Shadow carries so much anger. Yeah. Tell me about it.
Tell you about it. Okay, for someone who's not played the game, I will tell you about this movie. Essentially, Shadow is being held in stasis at the what's it called, Gun Command Center, and he escapes thanks to some hacking, and he has vowed to destroy not only Sonic but the world itself because of a wrong that happened to him. A young girl that he became very fond of at the lab. When the lab was destroyed, she died, and that's why he holds so much anger. Meanwhile, on the other side of the planet, you have Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles with Tom and Maddie going on a camping trip, and they're celebrating Sonic's third year being here on Earth. And in the midst of all that, something horrible happens. A world-ending cataclysmic event is possibly going to occur. And the only way they can stop it and stop Shadow, who is somewhat behind it, is to team up with Dr. Robotnik. And the four of them go and try to save the world. And many twists and turns happen along the way.
Yeah.
I'll just say this about the movie. I do not remember the first movie. I do not remember the second movie. And we were doing this we began this live stream when the first movie came out. The third one, I had a really good time with the third one.
Yeah.
Shadow, the stakes were so high with Shadow. It was just one of those, this is not a cartoon character. Keanu Reeves just brings such a gravitas to it. And then and look, let's be honest. All three movies succeed because of Jim Carrey. And Jim Carrey kind of plays a dual role in this movie. And this was his best performance yet.
Oh my God. There were so many good lines. There are meta lines. Not so much. It doesn't go as far as like Deadpool and Wolverine, but it has lines that like are out of the blue, calling out BS.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey plays his own grandfather in the movie.
Yeah.
So it's Jim. He is on fire. This is the role Jim Carrey was born to play. It's over the top by design. And the relationship
goes over the top.
The relationship between Dr. Robotnik and his grandpa is hilarious. They try to like make up for time by experiencing every holiday and what they missed. That sequence was so funny. And I
had to point out to my daughter, hey, the song they're playing, that's Bob Dylan they're playing.
Right. It's the movie is aware of itself. Unlike Mufasa, which only works for single-digit age kids, this movie works for kids and adults.
Yeah.
Okay.
But younger skewing kids.
Yeah, it's aware of itself. Adults will not be bored. It's not 2 hours. It's like hour 40. There's 2 post-credit scenes.
Yeah, we missed the second one.
I didn't miss it. I'm telling you, that sets up a 4. They better make the part 4. It's accurate to the game. Most of the events, including things in the third act that are so over the top as to be crazy. They went there, a giant weapon that could destroy the earth like the Death Star. I mean, but the way they treat it. So serious events are treated very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Like Shadow's relationship with a young girl is treated seriously. It's not taken lightly or breezed over. And then other things like Dr. Robotnik is over the top and funny. There's a sequence that's really funny where they have this gravity where either it pushes you up or brings you down to the floor. So they're constantly like they're trying to fight.
No gravity or heavy gravity.
No gravity or heavy gravity. That sequence is so good. And I gotta say,
video game sequence that could be.
This might be one of the best video game movies ever made in terms of accuracy, tone, balance between real world human characters and video game characters, events, fun. It's just fun. I would say it's better than Super Mario because Super Mario I thought was pretty safe by the numbers. Not really risky. This movie took risks.
Yeah.
And got goofy, but the goofy wasn't annoying. And it was so quick. Like, okay, and then it's done. I feel like Sonic 2 the human stories kind of dragged the film. And this you really are getting, there's a balance.
Yeah.
Balance. Team Sonic or the evolving Team Sonic along with the humans, which, you got to have them because they're on Earth. It's the real world, whatever. But there are really specific, deep cut call outs in the movie that I didn't notice. I was hanging with some friends, my friend Walter, my friend Bobby. We're hanging out from Dual Animal Studios. Love those guys. And there's a specific reference to a monster on the TV that is such a deep cut, and they were telling me so. I loved it, had a great time. One of, if not the best video game movies I've seen.
Yeah.
And even for people who don't like, I'm a casual gamer. Some games I played a lot of the Sonic games, quite frankly. This makes me want to play the Sonic game again. I've been a gamer all my life, starting with the Atari 2600. I've owned every game system up to now. I'm just PS5, all about the PS5. But God, I had a blast with this movie. And it was packed. The audience was packed, and guess what was empty? Mufasa.
Yeah.
Mufasa was in the IMAX empty. I was in the laser, which is a great screen, no complaints. I mean, it was amazing, and it was packed. Even the first 3 rows, everyone was packed. We all got posters. It was a great time at the movies.
Yeah, let me
recommend it
just
enough.
chime in. I'm on the opposite end. Look, I never owned a Sega Genesis, so I never played Sonic. I was an Xbox guy, and
Sure.
so me coming in this movie, if you go on my X feed, the first thing I said was I showed a picture of the popcorn buckets. I'm really not looking forward to this movie. I was underwhelmed by the first one. Definitely didn't care about the second one. And I have to admit, at the end of this one, it's like I had a really good time watching this movie. And my daughter came along, and she was similar. She was not wanting to see this movie. She wanted to get some of the Cajun fries from Regal. So we watched it. So let me speak to parents with young children. Our theater was about 3/4 filled, most of it children. When the movie ended, every single child began cheering and clapping for this movie. They absolutely fell in love with this movie. And so if you have a child, I can tell you your kids are going to love this movie.
But the adults will have a good time.
Yeah. No, I definitely had a good time.
Jim, there's a great line. Oh my God. One of the best, by the way, it's not woke at all. One of the best things, one quick thing. Dr. Robotnik's grandfather says this one line. This one character walks in. It's a woman, dressed in military garb, and that's great. A woman in the military, and it gets a big laugh. I mean, it's not woke. It's super fun. It's just, I'll probably go see it again. I had a good time, and everyone I was with all bought the buckets. They all got the Sonic buckets. They will be
sitting one or the head one.
The head one of the blue, of Sonic. It's going to be those buckets will be gone this weekend. That's it. They're gone. Wow, I had fun. I want to have fun at the movies, you know.
Especially if I'm being forced to watch a kids movie for our live stream.
MUFASA was a slog. What a in contrast.
Yeah.
Having seen MUFASA on Monday, seen this last night. Wow, the stark contrast. One being fun and both kids and adults can watch it. MUFASA being just a deadly dull bore. So yeah, strong recommend for Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Yeah, and Jim Carrey.
He better be in part 4. Movie. I mean, they somehow have to bring him back.
Yeah. I can't imagine them making this movie without him.
They cannot. He's a good balance because he's so loathsome.
Yeah.
He's a great villain. He's a great foil.
Yeah.
And then, you know what it seems? He seems like he's having a really good time playing this character.
Yeah. He goes full Jim Carrey in this thing.
Oh, he's full Jim. But that's what the character needs.
Yeah. That's what kids love. Kids love that stuff.
Yeah.
And the shadow.
I'll say
it over and over and over again. Kids can handle serious subjects.
They can handle serious subjects.
In fact, and I don't know why we can't bring. I mean, Walt Disney brought serious subjects into his movies. Why can't we go back to that and just trust that not only can kids handle it, but they can resonate with those things as well.
Yep. Yep. Let's go to your comments here.
All right, Patrick Lemire. I love how Jim Carrey's accountant told him he wasn't retired.
That's true.
Yeah. Sailor Mercury. Hey, for 2, Sonic 3 adapted Sonic Adventure 2 story perfectly. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it's the story from that game. And I played Sonic back then. I don't know if a lot of people know this. I edited a video game magazine in the 90s called Video Games Magazine. And then we spun off other magazines like
Animation,
Ultimate Gamer, Tips and Tricks, Computer Player. But I played games for my job. I was doing Film Threat on the side and editing Video Games Magazine. So I played the Sonic games. I love them.
All right. Scott Christie Jones for 2 British pounds. Happy Christmas to you both. Watch Slow Horses.
Oh, I don't know what that is. We'll look it
I
up.
think that came out this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Will Yum for 5. Sonic movies rock. Now Sega just needs to get back to making good games. Sonic Mania was the only good one since Sonic CD.
Yeah. I played, you know what I played that I thought was amazing? Because one thing about the Sonic games, the music is really good. I played Sonic CD, the Japanese version, and the music was amazing. Amazing. It was a burned disc, and I wonder if I still have it. I don't know. I pared down my video game collection. It's all about shelf space. I need a place with a garage. I need a garage for storage. But yeah, Sonic CD was awesome.
Ryan Landis, dear Disney, make fun movies. Yes, Disney.
Yeah, Disney.
I mean, it's not that hard. Jim T, is this the gayest gays?
Wait, can you say that again?
Yeah, just play the video. If you is this the gayest? Play the video. Sonic movie over.
No, it's not gay. There's no agenda. There's no message being pushed. There's no like,
except for women in the military, apparently.
no, but they made a joke out of it. It was funny. It was
And it was
so
a bad
good.
guy who said it. So
It was a bad, like, just it's good. It works on many levels. It's a comedy, a video game movie. It's a really somber story. So yeah,
I'm surprised they didn't submit this to the awards season. Yeah. Maybe they okay. One Punch Man Tolkien fan. Do I need to watch the first 2 to watch this one? No, I don't remember the first 2. And
yeah, just going cold. Sonic exists.
Yeah. Thomas Pickett for 5. Michael Jackson did some work on the music in Sonic 3. Well,
yeah. The music in the Sonic games, thank you very much. The music in the Sonic games it's really good.
Yeah.
Part of the experience.
Yeah. Like I said, my daughter doesn't know who Bob Dylan is, and they played a Traveling Wilbury song in the middle of it. I go, well, there you go. There's Bob Dylan. Darth Yeager, who knows what evil lurks in the heart of hedgehogs? The Shadow knows.
Yes.
Sailor Mercury, Jim Carrey is great, but Sonic is the soup of these movies for me. Shadow was great in it too. Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like a lot of people saw it opening night. That's great.
All right, Ryan Landis. I've heard a 4th movie is now greenlit. Yeah, they like money. Interestingly enough. Toxic Walsh and 8. Just out of this with my nephews, Sonic 2 and 3 are pretty solid. What sticks out most is how much I miss Jim Carrey.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, he's in this a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like what I'm saying, maybe you miss Jim Carrey just being in movies.
Yeah.
I think Jim Carrey doesn't really talk a lot. I get the sense he's very based. What?
Might challenge that, but BMO better. I think he's loving in retirement and will come out just to do fun stuff. And this is definitely in his wheelhouse. BMO better. I am glad this movie is done well and the fans are enjoying it.
They care about the fans. By the way, the cast was at the AMC Burbank 16.
No.
Hanging out, taking pictures, signing things. The cast was there.
Jim Carrey was there?
No, not Jim Carrey.
No, Ben Schwartz.
The voice actors.
Yeah. Idris Elba was there?
Not him, but
Okay.
the other ones.
Kristen, I can't remember her last name. Forget it. Jessica Jones, was she there?
No.
Do It Dirt Doom. It was a perfect fan letter to Sonic fans. Yes, when you
it respected the fans. This movie will do well.
Amazing. Amazing. Thomas Pickett for 2. Check out Jim Carrey's art. It is good.
It's just good to like, and we've got a couple more movies to review, and we have an interview coming up. Let's before we go to the interview, do I have time to review one movie?
Sure. Which one? That one?
Should we talk about The Brutalist?
What's the other one?
The End.
the end. Yes. Yeah, sure.
The Brutalist. Now, Alan, you haven't seen the whole thing, but you're still free to comment
Okay.
here. It is a 3.5-hour epic directed by Brady Corbett, who was an actor who made a film with Natalie Portman years ago called Vox Lux in 2018 that was strange and worth seeing, about a pop star. So he really shoots for the fences in this movie. This is a low budget film, which is shocking. I could not have guessed the budget for this movie was 10 million. It's an epic period piece about Adrian Brody's character is an architect that specializes in brutalist architecture and buildings. They're at times stark and modern and very. It's a kind of architecture that became popular in Washington D.C. He plays Laszlo Toth in the film, and it's a 3.5-hour movie with an intermission. A 15-minute intermission is part of it. Well, maybe 4 hours with the intermission, and the intermission has a countdown clock, so you can prepare for that. In the first half of the movie, Laszlo meets through a strange circumstance. He meets Guy Pearce's character, who is a rich philanthropist who wants Laszlo to design a building as a tribute to his mother, a big cathedral, if you will, a community center. That this architectural project is beyond anything imaginable in terms of its scope, in terms of how people will feel when they enter the building. And Laszlo doesn't even care about money. He's all about designing something that will stand the test of time, that will impact people in a meaningful way. And Guy Pearce is the rich person funding this project. We see the development of it. Adrian Brody's character, Laszlo Toth, is an immigrant escaping post-war Europe, and it's about this struggle between, I would say what it's really about is about art and money. That is what this film is really dealing with, through the lens of an architect, right? Who is all about the art. The project goes over budget. They're making cuts to it. Laszlo, forfeits his fee to make sure this building is made in the most, perfect way possible. Things are complicated in the second act. So there is an intermission, which it needs it. And I appreciated that. So, and then his wife, played by Felicity Jones, Ersabet Toth, comes into the picture in the second half. And of course, things don't go right with creating this building. This movie is epic. This movie shoots for the fences. It has one of the best scores of the year. But I'll say that some, because of the running time, will say that the Brutalist running time is brutal. And I would have to agree with you. I'd have to agree. Headline. This is also the kind of movie that shoots for the fences. And I will say that all the actors are really chewing the scenery in a way. So while I'm sitting here, I couldn't stop thinking about this movie. I saw this movie weeks ago at the DGA, where there was a Q&A, and the Q&A is on our members only channel. And I didn't know whether it's one of those movies where I finished watching it and I'm like, I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I like it. And you know what? Since then, I am still thinking about this movie. And there's something that happens in the second act that is shocking, with ramification. That is so shocking. You can't believe the movie did this. I was angry, and I'm still thinking about what happened. Did you get to the second half?
I got 5 minutes in, and like I said, I felt really sick, and I couldn't. And let me tell you about.
I thought you watched it.
No, I said I.
Okay,
I got
whatever.
sick.
It's fine.
But
Look,
let me. I'll tell you this. The first 5 minutes, though, I'm listening to you describe this film. The first 5 minutes felt like it was a Holocaust movie, or leading up to the Holocaust.
It's not. It's not at all. Zero. It's
but
about
that's the first 5 minutes of the movie.
It's about a European immigrant escaping the war and trying to make a go in the U.S. I don't know that this needed to be 4 hours. I hate to say the running time, especially the second half, is such a turn. It needed that intermission. I mean, could you make a 2-hour movie with an intermission or chapter 1, chapter 2, whatever?
Well, he does a director's. Sorry, just to interrupt. He does a director's interview about this, and he talks about 3-hour movie, and he goes, "Well, why does superhero films get 3-hour movies? Why can't?"
Right. Look, but I'll say this: I'm still thinking about this film. It's one of those movies that you see, and also even the graphic design, the title sequence. I'm a huge font nerd, right? I love weird fonts, and I could talk to you about Helvetica, Times New Roman, Impact. The title sequence for this movie is brilliant. It's a very different type of title sequence. So
well, I'm gonna have to see the movie.
I'll just say this. I recommend this movie, a bare recommend, if you are like movies that challenge your sensibilities. There's a shocking thing that happens in the second act that I don't agree with, that I thought was beyond the pale, and sets everything in motion towards the climax. But it's one of the most compelling movies of the year. I like movies that take risks. The fact that this was made for 10 million, the movie's an epic. The movie is an epic. They must have used, I couldn't tell. They must have used models somehow. You see them building this structure. It's amazing. The cinematography, incredible. The music, amazing. The things like the attention to detail and design. Adrian Brody's performance. So much of this movie is just top notch. And the fact that I saw it and I can't stop thinking about this movie makes me want to see it again and discuss it with you. Alan, we will revisit it once you've seen it. Let's go to comments.
Probably at our best of show.
Yeah, yes, we'll, but I recommend it only if you like movies that are challenging, that are 4 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'll just say I'm blown away that it's $10 million, and that should say something about Hollywood.
Yeah. So recommend. We'll discuss later. Let's go to your comments, and we have an interview.
We'll go fast here.
Robbie is being very patient in our digital green room. So we'll get to you in just a moment.
Jean Hu for 742, as Hung Kong Fui asks, is there a Sonic 3 popcorn bucket? Yes, there are two, and my theater has them, as well as the Hammer popcorn bucket as well.
Well, let's actually I'll show you right here. Yeah. This is the bucket that everyone I was with bought this last night. Yeah. That's the one with Sonic's head, and there is a light up cup that you can get.
And there's a popcorn bucket where he's seated and is holding a bucket. And Ron is right. Oh dear God, not another 3.5 hour movie. Yeah.
4 hours.
With intermission. Brock Samsonite, an actual intermission for a movie over 3 hours. Thank God I may actually try to watch this one.
Well, what's cool about the intermission that comes up on the screen, it has a countdown. So you know how much time you have to go. Yeah. Please start doing that. If a movie is 3 hours, we need an intermission.
But watch the intermission just for the font. Red French Moon, do they actually say that Brutalist architecture is ugly, or the movie pretends it's amazing? Modern art is a financial scam.
I don't know. I was quite taken with it, and it made me want to go down a rabbit hole of looking at the art. But yeah, that was you know who really liked Brutalist art or architecture?
The Brutes.
Well, it was Hitler really liked that stuff.
Oh, there you go.
Well, there you go. He really liked it. So
Good for him.
Hey, we are honored today to talk to the director of Dick Dynamite, an action comedy from director Robbie Steed Davidson. He's here with us today. Let's talk to him about Dick Dynamite. Hey, Robbie.
Guys, just having a little boogie to your little stinger there. Sorry.
Thanks, man. I want to show people the trailer for your movie just to give them a taste, but tell me from whence this came. This is wild and over the top.
Okay. I wrote the movie like about 12 years ago or something, the original Dick Dynamite. Originally, his character was a bit of a bumbling hero, much like Jack Burton from Big Trouble in Little China. And then it wasn't until I was on a plane and there was the person diagonally in front of me was watching an Arnie movie with the sound off. And I was just like, and it made me see this. I can't remember which Arnie movie it was. It made me see it in a completely different way with no sound. And I was just like, what would Arnie do in this situation? And then it just all clicked. It was just like, he wouldn't have to sneak around. It solved so many problems for filmmaking. He wasn't had to figure stuff out. He just goes in and kills everyone. And it just sort of snowballed from there. And then I approached some people like here's the storyline, the plot, and they're like, man, you're gonna need millions to do that. Then try and strip it back and make this sort of bare boned version of this Arnie type character taking on the Third Reich. So it sort of started from there.
How did you pull it together as an indie? Like with raise the money and get it together? Because I'm sure. I mean, it looks more expensive than I'm sure it is.
10 grand. People have told me not to tell anyone, but that's how much I made it for. I did 2
10 grand. First of all, I wouldn't have guessed that. 10 grand.
10 grand to make. Somebody asked me, "Oh, you spent 10 grand to make the trailer?" And I was like, "No, the whole movie." And they were like, "What?" So yeah, I did 2 Kickstarters. And like the first one being 10 grand, I was like, yeah, that's tons of money. I could make a movie for that. But then like once you got your fee and your percentage and all that, it came out at like 7.5, and I was like, damn, that's not so much. So maybe 6 months later or something like that, I did a finishing fund on Indiegogo to take it up to the 10 grand mark. So and then took it from there.
When you're making a movie for that kind of budget, what are the how do you deal with the challenges? I mean, like how do you get production value out of that kind of money? And also, by the way, for those of us in our audience who have excuses for why they haven't made their movie, now you have no excuse, no excuse whatsoever. So what were some of the tricks? And then we'll take a look at your trailer.
Yeah. Some of the tricks were, I probably shouldn't say on camera. All of it is the art of blagging. There's a fine line between. Am I allowed to swear on your show, Chris?
Yeah, go ahead, do it.
There's a fine line between blagging, bullshit, and straight up lying. But blagging, I'm all about blagging. I was taught by my father how to do it. He worked in the music industry, and it could take you a long way. And like a great deal. Like for example, there was real planes from D-Day coming into Scotland. If viewers could tell from my stupid accent, I'm Scottish. The 75th anniversary of D-Day, and they were stopping off from Canada and Iceland. They're stopping off in Scotland before going on to Normandy. And then I got wind of this. There was a press day, and I was like, man, I need to blag myself some press passes and turn up at this place to try and blag some filming with these real D-Day planes. So I was like, how can I turn up there and have the guys that have the planes want to film with me? What can I do rather than me just chancing my luck and going to them? And I was like, right, I'll go in my friend's DeLorean and turn up. And so I turn up on the tarmac, on the runway, these beautiful C-47s, and all the pilots come running over and they're like, wow, a real DeLorean, no. And I was like, can I get my picture with it? It was like, well, can I film in your plane? And they were like, yeah, for sure, do anything you want. So that day we filmed the runway shots, real C-47s from D-Day. Wow. So yeah, we got those shots, and then the next day I was able to blag my way and film in the interior shots in the cockpit. I think it was a chromed C-47 plane. belonged to billionaire Karl Zufis, I think his name was, who's sadly now passed. And yeah, just a lot of it was going out on a limb and blagging and bullshitting.
Well, let's take a look at the trailer. I've got it right here.
Cool.
And this is actually from the Film Threat Trailers channel.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that existed, but let's take a look at the trailer for Dick Dynamite 1944. Here we go.
He's always my fifth. You may laugh now, but there is a man, a legend. He's capable of bringing down your precious Reich with one smoosh of his fist. Le man, the legend, Dick Dynamite. Back, meine Tag! Tag, you're it!
A Nazi party. My favorite.
We believe the Nazis are constructing the biggest jet-propelled plane the world has ever seen.
That's why we're sending in you and your team. You and your dirty half a dozen are gonna escort Wachowski to the site to get concrete evidence of the bomber and back again before you can say Adolf's your auntie.
No, thank you. I will not be partaking in any such activities. I love this new guy.
Oh, come on, sweetheart.
What the hell are they?
We're Americans!
My heart bleeds.
Dynamite! It reminds me of the name one more time.
Dick Dynamite.
Now let's start a war.
Oh, wow. Oh my God. First of all, how'd you get all those bands involved?
So I come from a touring background. I played guitar for punk band Exploited for a long time, and I played with Billy from Biohazard and a Canadian band, the Real Mackenzie. So I toured for years and years, and a lot of the time, if a band was coming into Edinburgh or something, like for instance the Dwarves, so you've got Black Dahlia and you've got Nick Oliveri playing bass, who's in Queens of Stone Age and all that, right? And I'd reached out to those guys. I was like, guys, what are you doing before the show? I'm like, nothing. I was like, do you want picked up in the DeLorean and film a Nazi zombie movie in a nuclear bunker? And they're like, yeah, because there's a lot of time being on tour, right? So a lot of cases, I would blag again, something like that. But a lot of them I filmed on tour, and I blue screened them in. Like I took one change of clothes for a whole tour. It was like a package tour. It was like 10 bands in it or something. And my suitcase was just uniforms and helmets and a blue screen and camera, and just one sweaty, stinky change of clothes for a whole tour. So most of these guys were blue screened on tour, and they were sort of put into the fight audience for the boxing match scene.
Oh my God, this is amazing. It's out now. I want to let people know it's out now to buy or rent on VOD. It's out and available to see. We've got over 1,000 people watching live. We've got comments from our chat. Do you want to see some of the comments here?
Only if they're nice, like people,
nice.
Like, people don't realize, they take shots like, oh, this film was shit. It's like somebody made that. They've got feelings, and it's
no. Look at this volume dealer. Oh shit, Ryan Landis, money well spent.
Cheers, dude.
And I've also asked, where did you get so many period costumes and uniforms?
It was the local branch of Antifa.
What?
Jokes. Initially, it was I got in touch with reenactment groups. These guys love to dress up, so it was just like, right, if these guys love to dress up, want to be in a movie, they're like, they jump at the chance, because that's what they love doing. And then over the course of things, I got a lot of cheap things. Like you can't really see a lot of the gore in the trailer, right? There's a lot of gore, a lot of blood, There's no zombies in this trailer actually. And what we did, I bought like German police uniforms. You tar them up a bit. They look okay, but they were super cheap. But for when people get blooded, the Germans, we were able to just ruin these German police uniforms. So that was kind of cool. And then toward the end of filming, during lockdown, if you remember those great times, everybody was skint. Everyone was selling up stuff. People were going out of business, and our costumier had the entire wardrobe department from the Outpost movies. There's 3 Outpost movies, and they were filmed in Scotland too.
Wow.
And they offered me, you want to sell the whole bunch? And I was just like, yeah, bring it along to my studio and check it out. And I was just like, take my money,
Wow.
It was a steal.
Jimmy Francis says, congrats on the film.
Cheers,
Lord
Jimmy.
Comet says, for 2 says, and boom goes the Dick Dynamite.
Oh, you've seen the movie.
And hail, Mr. Davidson, what is the most important priority when you do a movie for 10 grand? I'm impressed, says the nerd far away.
As assembling a crew and team of everybody who knows what they're getting in for and is having fun. Like that was the thing. Like some people would come along, oh yeah, I'll be an extra. And there was one guy, Stig, he came in, he was an extra early on, and he had so much fun, as did pretty much everybody. He was on pretty much every shoot ever since, whether he's in front of camera, helping, and he's working on other movies now with effects and stuff, just out with the sheer love for it. And so many other people are similar.
Was there a lot of screwing around, or was the shooting schedule tight?
Sometimes it was super tight, like there was one time we were at an airfield and it was like, guys, we could split the day up and shoot into 2 parts. We could film over 2 days over the weekend, or we could start super early, finish super late. And everyone was like, yeah, let's do it all in one day. And it's like, that's tough going. So we did do that, but a lot of the screwing around, the making of, which should be like a DVD extra on the Blu-ray, I've said to some other people, it's like Jackass. It's like the amount of chaos that's in there. Like for example, I didn't really want to use CGI blood. There's the occasional bit of CGI blood. So to keep it practical, I had the idea of using water balloons filled with fake blood. And my initial idea was to just edit and to cut from the point of impact and have it explode, right? And we started doing that for a while, and I was like, what if I CGI out the balloon in midair coming to hit somebody? And I did, and it worked with effects.
That's such a simple thing.
Yeah, so CGI'd it out, and then you just get the and then from then on. But then my brother, who's in the movie, he plays Dash Dalton, the sort of English agent guy. He's another person that would come along on set even when he wasn't meant to be involved or not in front of camera, and he'd just be getting high and drinking beer. And like anytime it came, we would keep the blood ballooning to the end of the day. If it was a long day shooting, right, everyone knew, yes, someone's going to get pasted with blood balloons, and it's the best part of the day. It's the fun. And save that for the end, and everyone goes out in a high and wants to come back. But my brother, like, if people brought their kids along and stuff, he'd just go along this queue of people. There you go, there you go, there you go. And it would just be like this barrage of blood balloons. And we had to make a rule that, because if it bounced off someone, i.e. it wasn't thrown hard enough, it ruined the shot. Or if it missed them, it was a bit of a pain as well. So we had to introduce this rule that if you missed or had a bouncer, you had to get pummeled after it on camera. so the incentive was there to be like, you've got to make the shot or it's not good enough. And then it was weird. We became, the guy Stig I mentioned earlier, he became our number one guy. Never missed a shot, ever. I was pretty good too.
Wow. Red French Moon for 2 says, ooh la la, love the woman in the wet red dress. Anonymous says, you have to be really creative when you have a limited budgets. Sounds like Robbie has it down. Nice. And Solomon Thornton says, greetings, Sir Robbie. What was your process for writing the script?
Well, it's weird because lockdown actually helped, because we had these periods we weren't allowed to film. And anytime we were allowed to, we had big long periods of time between shoots, and it allowed me to be like, okay, the characters need to go from point A to B to make the story try and make sense. Some people might argue the story makes zero sense, but I tried. But it's like, okay, the characters need to go from point A to point B in a truck, because they need to travel a distance. That's what happens. It was like, well, and it gave me time to be able to work out, well, what if I spice it up? I'll throw a ninja in the back of the truck to have a fight and things like that. So the gaps like that with lockdown actually helped. And also because we're not like a real big budget movie, where you've got a block of 3 months to film or whatever back to back. Pretty much everybody in the movie is in a band. So, and everybody treated it like band practice. Okay, we turn up at the weekends and we do our thing, and it's cool. So a lot of the time we would have a week between shoots, and that allowed me, rather than being a like constant block, 5 days a week or whatever, just weekends or a couple of weeks apart, allowed me to like sort of spruce it up and stuff. And sometimes even like we had one shoot, we found this real, it's like a coastal defense from the war. It was covered in graffiti, overgrown. I managed to blag a paint sponsorship, and we painted it, and like cleaned it up. It was overgrown, cut it down, and it looked amazing. And then we shot Friday, Saturday, Sunday or something, and then midweek I started looking at the clips and piecing it together slightly, and I was like, damn, it doesn't make sense if this guy and this guy doesn't get shot, because he needs to, Snars, who plays like Dynamite, needs to make his way through. And I was like, guys, are you available next weekend? We can film some pickup shots. And like we turned up, and some buggers had graffitied the place with our paint. We were like, oh my god! So luckily we were able to mirror image film the other side of the place and chuck it in. I reversed it in post, and the German flags, which I think were from Cabaret, I managed to blag from the theater. Turned them round so it was the Buddhist insignia, but then had to flip it in post. So yeah, there was tons of problems along the way and problem solving.
I love the word blag. I feel like I've done that a lot, not even knowing what the word means. Apocalypse team, how do you feed people?
Okay, here's another blag. So there's a chain of stores here called Lidl, and often I would go into Lidl at 10 to 10. It closed at 10. So before that time, they would put all their sandwiches and stuff like down to 20p, So I'd buy all this stuff, and in 10 minutes run around the store with a trolley, and they'd always ask like, "What are you doing? You're buying all these drinks, all the cheap ass sandwiches and stuff." And it was like, I'm literally feeding an army. And then it got to the point, I got to know everybody in the shop, and then it was like, oh yeah, you filming again tomorrow? I was like, yeah. It was like, you guys should sponsor me. And it was like, okay, I'll speak to the boss. And I was like, all right, cool. Next thing you know, he's like, yeah, you've got, because it was right around the corner from my house, so I was in there a lot anyway. And I got a meeting with the manager, and he's like, we'll sponsor you, we'll do this, that, and that, and that. And they got a little press promo out of it that make them look good. So yeah, I got, and there was also local businesses as well that I approached, to make like a vat of chili and things like that to take on board. So it started off the cheap aisle at Lidl right before it closed, then a sponsorship, and then friends, local businesses and stuff, like making stuff.
And final question from our chat, Caveat Ty says, how do you go about gathering a crew with that kind of money?
I think the crew came about really from the initial Kickstarter. I made a proof of concept that was all blue because we were using green army fatigues, so
right.
A floating head if we use green screen. Yeah. So a entirely blue screen, and then use that as the platform for the Kickstarter. And then people came on board. They're like, I love the look of this. I want to come on board. And it was sort of like, even one of my main camera guys, Ian, I knew him from high school, but we didn't touch base until 5 years ago when we started making the movie. And he was like, he's a filmmaker too, and his stuff's awesome. He's making a movie, Goodman. You should check it out. It's like if Jim Henson made a movie about the Highland clearances. It's insane. He's making it all himself. So it was just sort of using these platforms to get people to come on board. That's
amazing. The movie is out now, made for 10 grand. Wait, Bimo Better says interviews like this is why we love watching Film Threat.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bimo Better. Robbie, congratulations on the movie. Dick Dynamite is out now. Go see it. And there is an upcoming Blu-ray. Is that what you said?
Yeah, in February. Oh, and your buddy's in the movie. He plays a corpse.
Who?
A fellow Scotsman.
Oh, Graham Ray?
No.
No, okay.
Another Scotsman. Podcaster.
Who?
He's a podcast drinker.
Wait, Critical Drinkers in the movie?
He plays
Oh my God. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he
That's
plays
awesome. Well, all right. We will hold out for the Blu-ray in February. Dick Dynamite is out now. Robbie, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Congrats on the movie. It is a fantastic achievement, having made films myself, and appreciate all the tips.
That's an honor for me, for you to say that. That's crazy.
Great. Have a great holiday. Take care.
You too. Cheers, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
That's
Robbie
awesome.
was great.
We do have a
And
review
it
on the
got
site.
by the way, the movie got a great review on filmthreat.com, which I think was reviewed last week. It's on there. It's on there. So, all right.
I am going to watch this movie.
Well, it's been reviewed, but yes, recreationally, we finally have the option to do that. We have one last film. Okay, real quick. Rooster Cogburn for 2. Great interview. Well, thank you. We have one last movie to review for this year. And it's fitting that the movie would be called The End. The End is the last film we will be reviewing for this year. And I saw this film. Let me bring this up. Alan, are we set? Okay.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about the movie The End. The movie is about a group of elites, a nice family that is living in a bunker built under a salt mine. And the catacombs of the salt mine look like the planet Hoth in Star Wars. The cast is rounded out by Tilda Swinton, who plays the mom. Michael Shannon plays the father. George McKay is the son, along with Tilda Swinton as the mother has her best friend, Brana Gallagher. She's just credited as friend. Tim McInerney is the butler, and Lenny James, the doctor. They live in this bunker doing like drills if an emergency happens. They talk of a past experience where they invited people in who tried to take over. So they train with weapons or emergencies if there's a fire. And so this post-apocalyptic movie that takes place in a bunker where the earth has been is besieged by fires. They don't really talk about exactly what happened. There's implications that there was some cataclysm with energy, but the earth is covered in fire and smoke. Most of the people wiped out, and they live here trying to lead a normal life, celebrating birthdays, holidays, and getting dressed up formally to live normally as if nothing's happened, which is weird in of itself. But you know what's really weird? This movie is also a musical. It's a musical. And they sing songs about how they're feeling. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling about it. And also the movie's 2.5 hours.
Brutal.
It's brutal. And I'm kind of fascinated. I watched this film. It's directed by who is the director? I gotta find this here. Who is the director here? In the directed by Joshua Oppenheimer. Joshua Oppenheimer. It's from Neon, which puts out, they're kind of like A24. They put out a lot of weird films. This is very strange. It received a lot of accolades, on the festival circuit. It's just bizarre. And I can't say I hated this movie. I'm like sitting here going, I can't believe this movie got made. Somebody rich had money they wanted to burn. Rather than burn it in a furnace, they made a movie. So now the twist in the film is that a young woman enters the picture, a survivor that somehow got through and came through some vent opening in the vents. No one else is with her. She happens to be played by Moses Ingram, a young, attractive Black woman who the son takes kind of a liking towards because he's never met another woman. And that causes a rift. At first, they're just going to take her out and kill her. They're just going to kill her because they can't have outsiders. They have a change of heart, and she ends up becoming part of the family. This is a huge complication. And Moses Ingram, she's actually a very good actress. I wouldn't have known that from watching Kenobi, but she's very good actually in this film. And she also sings as well. This has to be one of the most bizarre movies I've seen this year. And Alan, you like musicals. I'm not sure if you would like this one, but it's what this goes on a list of movies I would describe as, I can't believe this movie got made. But Joshua Oppenheimer has been, the director of this movie, has been nominated for Oscars. His previous work includes The Act of Killing, The Look of Silence. I mean, I'm going to say kind of pretentious film. So this fits in, but I didn't hate this film, but I also did not love this movie. So, I give this movie a bare recommend with a warning. Like, I can't believe this movie exists, but I would say for the most part, for the majority of our audience, I'd say don't bother. But something about this film, I'm like sitting here in a theater. I saw this in a theater with one other person in the theater. I saw this movie. I'm sitting here the same day I saw The End. I'm in a theater with one person, and The End is a new movie. And then I went to see Interstellar, and it was packed on a Tuesday. So I'm in a mind where I'm like the Brutalist. I can't believe this movie got made. I admire the effort that went in, but the songs, none of them memorable. So this is borderline between a recommend and a non-recommend, but I always admire a movie where, why did you make this? The thing that is really chilling in the film is the why are they trying to uphold all these rituals and traditions like holidays and birthdays and formal meals with, like, you've got the place settings where it's complicated about what you're supposed to do. So they live this very formal family life while the rest of the world is completely in tatters. And then a conflict begins to brew where they are thinking about the people they did not invite to be a part of surviving a post-apocalyptic Earth. A bare recommend with a warning, a bizarre movie. You can't believe this even got made. And I learned Moses Ingram can actually act. So make of that what you will, between a 5 and a 6, if I had to give it a number rating. And I wish you had seen it, Alan. You might have some.
Yeah, you actually talked me into seeing this movie. So
it's so weird. It's so weird. And I mean, Michael Shannon is great. Tilda Swinton, great. George McKay, I can't even remember what I've seen him in before. I really liked him. Oh, he's in 1917. Captain Fantastic. So he's really good. He's a very good actor. And Moses Ingram was, I mean, you see the conflict. So make of this review what you will. Let's go to our comments here.
All right, Wesley 1924. Why are there so many bunker / post-apocalyptic movies and shows lately?
Oh, they're just prepping us.
Yeah, zeitgeist, I believe, is the word we want to use here. Patrick Lemire, Arriva! And yes.
And that is actually going to wrap it up for us today.
Actually, okay, never mind. Go.
No, go ahead.
We start something, but I realize we're working on time here, so.
No, it's cool. Just remember, Lord Thoth. Thank you to Lord Thoth, Atomic Lori, Glenn Nuccio, all of our mods. Like, share, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications, all that stuff. And thanks to our mod, Lord Thoth. We appreciate you, Lord Thoth. All right, that's it for today's show. We're back on Monday with Verses, our last Verses of the year. I'll be doing Christmas and New Year's streams. I don't know what time of the day I'm doing them. When I have an hour window, I'm going to talk to you guys and make the time to talk to you. Happy weekend as well, says Atomic Lori. We appreciate her. And we'll be doing a show a week from today, our best and worst of the year show, right, Alan?
Yes.
We will have that list. And this has been a very good year. I appreciate talking to you guys. So there you go. Robbie left us a message. The director of Dick Dynamite. That was wicked. Thanks. So that's cool. Have a great holiday, everybody. We will see you Monday for an episode of Versus. Did I forget anything, Alan?
Listen, I'm going to try to do the member Jackbox stream this weekend. Maybe I'll do it Saturday.
That sounds cool. Yes, you will see Alan working hard.
Damn, I wish I had that hair.
You don't have to work that hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's my one complaint about Alan. He works too hard. Well, I might have a few more.
You have plenty of complaints, believe me.
All right. Hey, thank you, everyone. It was fun to spend time with you today. You got one good recommendation this weekend, Sonic 3. Others, warning for the Brutalist in the end, but I like movies that are weird. I like David Lynch movies. I like John Waters. I like strange indie movies. So knowing my taste, make of those recommendations what you will. Alan,
let's get out of here. Oh, sorry.
Wait, no, Alan. Wait, let me set you up.
Okay,
Alan,
I am performing at the National Comedy Theater tomorrow. You can see me at the second to last performance of the year.
Awesome. Anything else, Alan?
Yeah, let's get out of here.